Warning, this video may be sensitive to some viewers. Many unfortunate events happened to black men and women during the slave trade era. One of them was the use of their children as bait to catch alligators. Alligator bait, also known as gator bait, was said to have been practiced in the swamps of Florida and Louisiana during the 1800s and 1900s. Back then, alligator hunting was a profitable business, and the bodies of the alligators were used to make shoes, belts, bags, and other related items. As the Face2Face Africa website reports, some white hunters lost their arms and, in worst cases, lost their lives as they rustled the swampy waters at night attempting to attract alligators to the surface. Pictures, trinkets, and postcards were also sold to commemorate this dark, evil practice. Jim Crow Museum of Racist Memorabilia is often cited as a source of documentation because it contains artifacts and some other pieces of evidence of this gory act. Indeed, there is sufficient documentation to show that during the slave trade era, black babies were used as alligator bait. To buttress further claims that such a horrendous incident ever happened, there are different newspaper articles that have given credence to the actual occurrence of such dreadful act. For instance, in 1908, the Washington Times newspaper confirmed the existence of the gator bait in a tidal bait alligators with pickaninnies, where 2 black children had been used as bait for alligators. At that time, the New York Zoological Gardens zookeeper had sent 2 children to an enclosure with about 25 crocodiles and alligators. People watched as the hungry reptiles chased the children. A major reason for the use of black kids was because the zookeeper believed that the alligators had Epicurean fondness for the black man. While the infants played in the shallow water, the expert rifleman would watch from a concealment nearby. Sometimes, the children were tied near shorelines of marshes and rivers. Different accounts have been given of how the black baby's alligator chase actually happened. For instance, the Miami New Times reports that sometimes the hunters would take the babies, who were mostly toddlers, while their mothers weren't watching or were working in the fields. Slaves that had babies were easily targeted. The children were used to lure alligators out of the swamp so that the hunters could kill the animals and use their skin for business. The reptiles had to be let out so that they could be seen. In some cases, it got so bad that after using the babies as baits, they would only be rescued after the alligators had surfaced and were visibly about to harm the kids. Some other stories have revealed that the mothers of the babies were paid about $2 for their children to be used to lure reptiles, and that no baby was hurt in the process. However, it is unthinkable that a mother would freely leave her offspring for such gory exercise. The gator bait story has been denied several times, but there are different oral accounts, publications, and documentaries that reveal its actual practice. Even after the news was widely reported by the American press, the Chipley Chamber of Commerce once denied the story and said that it was a silly lie, false and absurd. Sadly, the callous abuse of these children was characterized in postcards and figurines. Many of these humorous postcards existed during the slave trade era. A candy manufacturer once created a distasteful advertisement that featured a hungry-looking alligator advancing towards a baby. There were also popular songs and rhymes about using babies as alligator bait. For instance, Mammy's Little Alligator Bait 1899 by Henry Wise and Sidney Perrin was one of such. The cover act shows a black American father throwing a rock at an alligator coming towards his children, while the wife runs to protect the children. Dark histories such as this, which revolve around the alligator bait, are quite disheartening, especially since there is hardly any news of the zookeepers being punished for their evil acts. The silence of the authorities, when it happened, is even more baffling. The presumption that the various jokes, memorabilia, and advertisements were fictitious or untrue is baseless. However, the artifacts that exist will forever tell a story of what truly happened. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe.